Predator Badlands, the newest installment in the almost 40-year-old Predator franchise, now with a twist. The Predator has never been the main character before, but now for the first time in its cinema history, it is the main star, the lead, the protagonist, the hero we are rooting for?
Well, gentlemen, you have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Let's get into 2025's Predator Badlands. The plot of Badlands centers around Dek, a predator that is seen as the runt of the litter, the outcast of the family. Not just the family, the entire Yautja predator species. He's not as big, he's not as tall, and he's not as powerful as his predator counterparts. You see how hard it is out there in the vastness of space for us short people? But still we persevere. He is, however, very eager and ready to prove himself. And now for Dek to prove himself, or how the predator species prove themselves in general, is in the hunt. The bigger the hunt, the bigger the respect given to the one that accomplishes it. So now Dek ventures out to one of the deadliest planets in his galaxy to bring back the deadliest prize on that planet to garner the respect of his clan. That is just the basic gist of this movie. There's much more happening just in the opening, but I do not want to spoil it here. The more you don't know, the more likely you are to be surprised by it. Because I did not expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did. I went into this movie with very mild expectations. I am a humongous fan of the first movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1987, with the rest of the franchise having a lot of ebbs and flows when it comes to quality of entertainment. So as I do with most movies that come out today, I like to temper my expectations so as to enjoy whatever comes my way while watching it. And I would say that Predator Badlands was way more fun than I expected it to be. I wouldn't say that it exceeded my expectations, but it definitely didn't come in below my expectations. To start with the positive, the most obvious one is having the Predator as the lead. If you ask me, it was one of the only ways you could have kept this franchise interesting. And I, for one, love that choice, changing up the method of storytelling and the hero's journey. With that, the movie needs you to be on Dek's side, and after what happens in the opening act, I would say that they more or less succeeded with getting you on board with his hero's journey. At least I thought so. And one of the major perks of having the Predator as the protagonist, being the formidable specimen that they are, is that they can inflict a lot of carnage and damage upon their foes, as well as the inverse being correct, where they can take a lot of damage. As much as I love humans going against the Predator and them getting by the skin of their teeth, let's not forget human beings, as fragile as we are, cannot really go one-on-one with the Predator. It would be a very short fight. So the beauty of this movie is that you have a protagonist that can be put in the craziest situations, and when they make it out by the skin of their mandibles, we don't question it as much. Because during the course of this movie, Dek has to more or less go against an entire planet that is trying to annihilate him every step of the way. And I'm serious, everything on this planet around every corner is trying to put him in the most amount of pain and suffering imaginable. And when he does his best to escape, around the next corner there's something even bigger trying to eat him up. And if it were a human that didn't have the agility and dexterity or prowess of a predator, the imagination would have to be stretched a little more. Having it be a predator keeps it in the realm of believability. The believability of aliens battling aliens on distant alien planets kind of believability. The action was very well filmed, but there were a couple of scenes where I thought they could have taken 2 or 3 steps back to get a better framing of the entire scene, but that's me being nitpicky really. Overall, I would take this kind of action over the shaky, spasm-like action that's held by someone with epilepsy any day of the week. Stop that shit, nobody likes it, remove it from movies forever. And also when it comes to action set pieces in any action movie, I like the progression of the scale of the action. I don't want the most entertaining action set piece to be at the beginning of the movie with the smaller action set piece being towards the end. In this movie, I like the fact that the most entertaining action set piece was saved for the end. And it had a lot of payoff for what was being introduced throughout the movie. I love when that happens. Makes it feel that everything the movie was building up to is paid off. And rewarding the attention of the audience for using items shown previously in the movie. I enjoyed that. And the pace of this movie is actually quite quick. It's maybe not moving at a breakneck speed, but it wasn't slow. It absolutely wasn't slow. And if it did start to take its time, I felt it enhanced the character moments that showed up later up in the movie. So downtime well spent. That's if you end up liking the characters. If you don't like the characters at all, then I guess it's time not well spent. The acting from everybody I thought was pretty good. I will say that seeing Elle Fanning in a movie like this was very surprising, and a good kind of surprising. She has always been a dramatic actor, someone that's looking for those elevated Oscar roles, or as they say, indie darling. So seeing her in something like this, playing an android in an action sci-fi predator movie, really added to my enjoyment of it, just a little bit more. And the off-kilter characteristics of her performance, I thought, added a lot more levity and humor in the movie. A lot of people online are saying that her character's annoying, and I don't know if I'm comparing her to the most annoying characters that I've ever seen. I thought that she was just the right amount of annoying, nothing that took me out of the movie. And the lead himself, Dek, played by Demetrius Schuster Koloamatangi. I need to grab my phone for that because I would have butchered that name. And I wouldn't want to do that because Demetrius Schuster Koloamatangi deserves to not have his name butchered. Because I really enjoyed what he brought to our very first Predator protagonist. Most notably the physicality and the body language. Or does body language land under the umbrella of physicality? Because for the entire movie, he's speaking in his Yautja Predator language, and most of what he's trying to convey is through his body language. His main job, with the help of the writing of course, is to get us on board in his quest for respect and acceptance. Are we going to root for a character that has always been portrayed as the villain? Is this gimmick going to fall flat? That weight rests on his shoulders, and for the most part, I thought he nailed it. And one thing I definitely have to talk about is the music. For someone that loves the original music by Alan Silvestri, seriously, in that first movie, the music is its own character. I was glad that we didn't get a new iteration of it, even though deep down I kind of wanted it to. We rather got something new entirely. The music by Sarah Schachner and Benjamin Waldfish. If I had to use a word to describe it, it would be arousing at times and motivational when it needs to be. And it had this chanting effect to it, which really stood out to me. I think it took a lot of inspiration from The Who, not The Who, The Who, a Mongolian band that they used in the trailer music, and throughout the movie you can hear it somewhat in the distance, and I liked it. For the director Dan Trachtenberg, this is his third foray into the Predator franchise, first one being Prey in 2022, and then earlier this year he had Killer of Killers. Prey I don't like as much as everybody else does. There are some problems in that movie that I just cannot ignore. And then we had Killer of Killers, which I thought was a very good step in the right direction. And the fact that it was animated, it made all the fight scenes much more intricate and visceral, which I really, really liked. And it finally brought one of the ideas that most fans have had for the Predator franchise into existence, which is what would the Predator do in the Viking era or in the time of the samurai, or drop him into one of the world wars. And that's exactly what we got. And just as we thought, it made for some pretty entertaining Predator fun. But I think he has found his stride with Predator Badlands, and I'm very curious to see where he takes the franchise moving forward. As for the negatives of this movie, they introduced this little creature character, which I really didn't mind, honestly. But what they ended up doing with this creature as a whole, I feel took away from the underlying mission of Dek's character, and I would have liked it to go another way. When I make a spoiler-filled review, I'll talk about it more in detail, because otherwise I really don't have any other negative with this movie. Some people are saying that it's a bit too humorous for a Predator movie. I don't think that it's that humorous. They do have some jokes. You gotta throw in some jokes, I understand that, but it wasn't so bad that I went, oh my god, dude, stop joking in a Predator movie. It was never at that limit, so I never thought of it as a negative for this movie. And I am a big fan of this franchise. I love that first movie beyond words. I really like that movie. I think if I found out the statistics of my life, the movie that I've watched the most ever, it would be Predator. Overall, Badlands was way better than I thought it was going to be. I don't get why people are up in arms about making the killing machine of this franchise the hero. Honestly, what else could you have done with this character? We have had it hunt humans for the last, 5 films? It makes total sense that they would change up the formula. Audiences have been craving for some variety in this franchise. Well, now you've got it. Let me know in the comments what you would have liked this franchise to do with the character. I'm very curious to know. If I was to pen a Predator story, I myself would have made the Predator a good guy somewhat. So I kind of like Predator Badlands doing that. I think this movie deserves a very high recommendation of 8.4 out of 10. I hate numbered rating systems because I don't even know where the number comes from half the time. So I'm going to tell you that I enjoyed what they did with this new idea and new take on the character. I feel they use this idea very well. And I think I might like it even more on a rewatch, and I'm very intrigued to see if I do. Please give me your thoughts on the movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you looking forward to more movies in this franchise? What is your favorite Predator movie? For me, it's the first one. Man, that movie is just a classic. It is the definition of a classic. And where does this new one fall in the rankings? I'm going to be doing a ranking video for the Predator franchise in the future, so stay tuned. And until next time, please hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. And as always, peace, love, and I'll see you when I see you.